How many of you have New Year's resolutions? Be honest, I can see you. Well, whether you do or not, I feel like this is a perfect time to make a video like this, because after reflecting on 2024, what the year's been for them and how they could learn from it, a lot of people will have resolutions. I myself did this at the end of the year as well, and originally I had a couple. You know, the standard: eat healthier, be more consistent with gym and volleyball, be nicer to my sister. Never mind. If you were to ask me how I found 2024, I'd say it's been an amazing year full of many memories, blessings, lessons to learn from, and growth. And I thank God for that. It's also given me a lot of opportunity to add things to my plate. The next level of education, guitar, roller skating, skateboarding, religion, making new friends, maintaining old ones, volleyball, this channel, living the uni experience, having fun, learning about myself, taking responsibility roles, watching new anime, catching up with old movies and series, playing story games. I could continue listing. But you get my point. The issue I have, and one that many people also have, is I have access to all these things that I want to do for myself. And that's great. But how do I do them at the level that I want to? Like, for example, from my list, just to name a few, I want to get good at guitar fast, maintain academic domination, improve at volleyball quickly, build and maintain meaningful connections soon, grow closer to God as soon as possible, and stuff like that. Now, looking from an outside perspective, do you see the same issue that I do? All of these come with the stipulation of doing them in a short time frame. Now, fast, quickly, ASAP, etc. To do them in the time frame that I want, I would have to put my all into one, maybe two of them at most. Trying to do all 15 or however many is just not realistic. And coming to this realization can be kind of crushing. It's like you're admitting you're not the super capable, better than average person your ego claims you are. And you aren't putting in the hours you need to, and you don't deserve to have access to your dreams. Every year, just before Christmas, I go to confession in church. You know, welcoming the baby Jesus with a lighter heart, a little bit off my mind, you know, stuff like that. So I come home from my outing for the day, walk to church with my mum, join the congregation, say a couple prayers, sing a couple hymns, and eventually the priest split off and we're invited to go up to confess. After what feels like ages of self-reflection and remembering the same points over and over, it was my turn to go up. I say my pieces, I forgot a couple, but anyway, and the priest gives his reflection. And I'm listening and taking it all in, but then he hits me with a piece of advice that sticks with me. He says, be patient with yourself, Daniel. Things will take time, but they'll fall into place eventually. Just trust that they will, or something along those lines. I'm like, okay, interesting. Not the perspective I was expecting from my priest, but cool. Fast forward to New Year's Eve, and normally I go to church at midnight. Now, we go through the mass as normal, progress through everything, the readings, whatever, and then we get to the homily. Now, I'm going to be so honest. I'm going to keep it a buck at tax. I don't pay attention during the homily. I'm sorry.
You a fraud.
It's just that my mind tends to wander.
That is not my
but at least it normally wanders to self-reflection. That's where I do most of my proper thinking time. But just as I'm about to enter my own head and start my own self-reflections, my priest goes, how many of you have New Year's resolutions? Except he doesn't point at the people in the congregation and tell them, I can see you. He goes, I won't ask you to raise your hands, but I will ask you to get rid of them. And I go, oh, why? And then he continues on. He makes a lot of good points. The main one being that you'll break them and feel disappointed, yada, yada, yada. And then he says it again. Be patient with yourself this year. Once again, I go, okay, interesting, and keep it stepping. One more fast forward to after mass. I'm at home on TikTok scrolling. This is at 4 p.m. at this point, when I get a video where the guy speaking says, have some patience with yourself. You have the majority of your existence left. And I'm just left thinking, damn, What the hell is going on? What's with this repeated message that I'm getting? Am I being targeted? Because bear in mind, this was this guy's second sentence into the TikTok. And then I finally sat down and thought about it. Really think about why you're trying so desperately to do all these things now. The skills that you imagine the ideal version of yourself would say they are good at. And naturally, you're trying to become your ideal self as fast as possible. But rushing the process doesn't guarantee that you will unlock all of these skills as you want them. And more importantly, you're gonna be this ideal version of yourself no matter what, aren't you? So if it's inevitable because you know you're going to put in the work, then you can relax a little bit. The beauty of a flower is not lessened by the pace of its bloom is a quote that I just stole from a Hope Core TikTok, but I think it's a metaphor that perfectly describes what I'm trying to portray here. The time it takes for you to bloom into the person you want to be will not be accounted for when looking at how beautiful of a person you become. So like a flower takes its time and lets its growth happen naturally, so should you. It's okay to have a day where you do no work or not as much work as you had hoped. It's okay to take a bit longer to understand the concept or skill. And it's okay if you aren't where you thought you would be. It's actually incredibly common to overestimate how much you can achieve in a day. And it's just as common to underestimate how much you can achieve in a week, month, or even a year. You aren't a robot that can perform a task exactly how it's planned 100% of the time. So why would you expect yourself to feel super productive every single day? You're allowed to fluctuate. If anything, it's fluctuations like that which I think make you more real. As always, this also applies to your own emotions too. Being patient with your emotions and thoughts is never spoken about enough, I think. Let yourself feel the negative emotions, whether it be sad or angry, frustrated or useless. If you're patient with yourself during the moments of it's so over, you will gain a better understanding of yourself and be able to go, wait, I'm actually kind of good. But at the same time, don't let this notion of being patient lead you to inactivity and laziness. The reason you're being patient is to be kinder to yourself. If you start letting this be the excuse for your genuine laziness and sloth, then this is the opposite of being kind to yourself. You're robbing future you of opportunities. Also, it's okay, in fact, expected that you should have to remove some things from your plate. Like a florist studies a bush and chooses to prune some of their beautiful roses, sometimes removing a dream or two from your plate is necessary to allow yourself to fully flourish. If you want it badly enough, it will only be temporary. Eventually, that dream will once again allow itself to be pursued, at a time when you are more available to pursue it. If the audio is bugged, I'm gonna bug. I like recording in here though. It's not bad. I'm just glad that all of my flatmates are currently in the kitchen, so they can't hear me do this. Because, not that I'm embarrassed, but when people are around when you're doing stuff like this, it's like when you're younger. I don't know, this might just be me. When you're younger and you're trying to work out in secret, there's no reason for it to be secret, but you're trying to work out in secret, and there's someone busting through the door. You gotta act like you're doing nothing, you just, yeah, it's like that. How many of you have New Year's resolutions? Be honest, I'm looking at you, I can see you. What? I'm good. I'm not sure.
Can't tell you.
We came out because there was a bang outside.
I didn't even hear the banging.
And then we heard that you guys were recording your video.
Yeah, and then I was like, Flick, I literally just said, I'm so glad that they're not in the kitchen. And then you guys all came out and I was like, I can hear shuffling outside. This is so incredibly... This is exactly what I mean. It's not...